I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. First of all, since today is Thanksgiving, I want to say Happy Thanksgiving to you. And I also want to let you know how grateful I am and thankful, particularly because of my wonderful viewers and because of all of the kind support that I have enjoyed and encouragement that I've enjoyed here at SEM Studios. And so it's just a very pleasant way to do a show here. And it's wonderful that I have such nice viewers who keep turning in. So I'm very thankful for everything that you do for me. And in fact, the fact that you're watching is why I'm here. So I hope you do have a very happy Thanksgiving. And if you've been looking at our website, you would already know that the title of tonight's show is Standing Tall. And that is because 2 days ago we had a new moon at 4 degrees of Sagittarius. And there were some great planets in Sagittarius. The sun and the new moon were at 4 degrees of Sagittarius, and Jupiter, the ruler of the sign, was at the fateful 29th degree of Sagittarius as well. And so the lights and the ruler all in one sign simply can very favorably accentuate everything that Sagittarius stands for. It rules long-distance travel, foreign countries, religion, philosophy, higher education, and it rules all international organizations that serve people throughout the world, such as the United Nations or the World Court or the World Bank. And it also rules the whole judicial system because it rules the courts. And so this is a time when universal values can be very favorably focused on, and that simply means that everyone, as we approach the holidays, can be concentrating on the customs and the rituals and the traditions of their own families or of their countries. And this would be throughout the world. And so even if you don't do the same things as some other family, it just seems that we all have our little traditions that go on from year to year and from generation to generation. It doesn't even matter where you live, it's all over the world. And that is because we have some planets now that are very strong in a sign that depicts tradition. And that is because Venus has moved into Capricorn now. It is at 1 degree of Capricorn. Well, because Jupiter is at 29 degrees of Sagittarius, it means that Jupiter is still conjuncting Venus, but it's at the last degree in one sign, and then Venus is at the 1st degree in another sign. And Venus is joining Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn as well. Capricorn is the traditional sign of your 10th house of career, public reputation, rewards earned the hard way over a long period of time, so it also rules retirement funds and pension funds. And Capricorn rules bureaucracy. It rules the administration of large entities, such as large corporations or government agencies. And that's because the ruler of Capricorn is Saturn. Saturn is at home in the sign it rules. It's only there once every 28 to 30 years. So it's having quite a good effect because Saturn rules time. And this is a time when traditional values and old ways of doing things can be highly revered and respected because they have stood the test of time. They've made it through good times and bad. And for that reason, even as they age, they can be highly respected because a lot of the things that are involved in our traditions are valid for us, or we wouldn't still be following them. However, it's awfully easy, isn't it, to take something for granted that's been around a long time. Or it can be that a lot of people can be dismissing the tried and true because, you know, they're not modern, they're not progressive, they may be sort of useless. In fact, the high values that have withstood the test of time, no matter who's administering them, or corporations or governments that have made it through thick and thin are always around because they know how to survive. But we can be taking them for granted right up until we really need them. And then they're there. And that's what we need now. We need to stand as tall in our values, that's what that new moon represents, as our revered traditions do, and live up to them. And so this is a time when we need to sort of hang on to those good things that have lasted and practice them a little harder. And the reason why is that it is easy to take them for granted or dismiss them. But this is a time when maybe because of the strength of the 3 planets in Sagittarius and another 3 in Capricorn, which are such good planets, that we really need to sort of dust off these time-honored values and stand really tall the way that they do. And so that could occur in a lot of different ways. For instance, it could occur by us adhering to the high principles and the wisdom from the past that are found in documents like America's Constitution. Okay, that was a hard thing to write, but it actually has governed our country since its inception very well. And so it has withstood the test of time. And so has the great Magna Carta from Great Britain. And so these precepts that have to do with fairness and with law and order have survived over a long period of time. They have encountered endless challenges and they have overcome them. And so that is by standing tall. They are good examples of why we should be standing tall now and trying to do the right thing, trying to do that kind of universal good that the new moon in Sagittarius depicts. So when a challenge heads your way, don't run from it, just stand taller. And if you need to rely on the old-fashioned way of doing something, why don't you do that? Because it's worked before and it could work again for you. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, you could certainly be challenged, perhaps by your employer, to stand tall right now and maybe, up your game a little bit, Aries. And that is because although the sun and the new moon and Jupiter in Sagittarius were all beautifully trining your sun, which means that you could have a little itch to travel right now, or you may be very highly inspired to stand tall and do a really good job right now, and you would certainly shine if that was your aim. But Venus and Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn are squaring your sun sign, but they're very good planets, and that simply means that there can be people around, perhaps in your work area or involved in some large corporation or government agency that you deal with in one way or another, and they can be challenging you to live up to their policies. In fact, they could be insisting upon that. And I think that their idea is that if you don't live up or stand tall right now and follow their precepts of fairness and law and order, that you will suffer for that. And I don't think that you will suffer momentarily. I think that you will suffer somewhat permanently. And that is because they're very strong. And so I hope that you decide that if you're having any little confrontation with anybody, I hope you sort of end that and instead decide to conform to other people's wishes right now. And since yours is the sign of the pioneer, you may decide, hey, I'm just going to get out of town and do things my way. Remember that new moon is trining your sun. But as you go off in one direction, you may be cutting off your ability to come back. And so if I were you, I would listen a little closer to people who are insisting that you follow their directions right now and conform to them, Aries, because if you don't, there could be a unfortunate outcome to that in the next year, sometime in the next year. And that's because the planets are building up in Capricorn. There are going to be more planets squaring your sun soon. That's why I think you need to, go along with somebody else right now. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, this is a time when I think that you do benefit, perhaps not so much from the new moon in Sagittarius, because it is in conjunct or 150 degrees away from your sun sign. But oh boy, Venus, Saturn, and Pluto in Capricorn are trining your sun sign where you have Uranus. And those 4 planets are also trining the sign of Virgo. So this is a time when you may decide just all on your own, Taurus, that you do want to stand tall, that you really do want to do your best. And it could be for the long run. And you could be looking at it in a practical way. And so if a corporation is demanding that you work a little harder, it may be with the promise of a promotion. Or if you're wanting to start your own business, perhaps you have saved enough money so that you can do that now, even though it would require very hard work and a lot of challenges, and you'd sort of have to make it through good times and bad. But as long as you're standing tall and you believe in your hard work ethic and in your principles, and you've really sort of done your homework, you could succeed at that, Taurus. So I think the only thing you really have to worry about right now is that Mars and Mercury in Scorpio are opposing your sun sign, which means you may owe some money to somebody. And I would say that you need to clear up your debts first before you decide to go ahead and work at something that could really raise your stature down the road. In fact, there could be that somebody already has their eye on you, Taurus, and as long as you're standing tall and doing your best, I think there's some good things in your future. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, there still are not any planets in the air signs. That means there are not a lot of people around with any new ideas right now, Gemini. And that means that, you know, you could take a breather right now. And I advise you to do that. This is not the time for you to be talking too much and letting people know what you think, Gemini. So it's not a good time to advertise anything, and advertising is ruled by your sign. Instead, you need to be really quiet and listen a little bit more to other people. And that's because that new moon in Sagittarius, along with the Sun and Jupiter at the 29th degree of fate, were all opposing your Sun 2 days ago. And Neptune, which is now direct in Pisces, is squaring your sun sign. And so that simply means that one thing, you could be very disillusioned by the truth that is going to be coming out soon. You're sort of disillusioned about some people who are real phonies. And you could have been expertly misled on something, Gemini. And so that could be a little disheartening. And there is also the possibility that there could be a court decision or a decision made at a high level that may not favor you, Gemini. That's not the end of the story, but that could be something that could be happening. And since Gemini rules youth, there is the possibility that there could be a court decision that may affect younger people right now in one way or another. So this is really not a good time to talk about something, Gemini. It's a better time to wait and see what happens instead. But stand as tall as you can and be a good example to others right now. But just remember, silence is golden. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, this is a time when I think that you are really going to benefit from the fact that there can be some more money coming your way. You're also going to be able to benefit from the exposure of some sort of deception or the exposure of an imposter, or just learning the truth about someone behind the scenes. And when that truth comes out, Cancer, you're going to sort of say to yourself, oh, I knew that all along, because you may have suspected the real truth, which has been hidden for quite a while, but it is about to come out. And that will tend to benefit you in one way or another, Cancer. So if I were you, I would prepare to stand tall. And by that I mean try to be as fair as you can about something, really uphold law and order. Mars is not challenging your sun sign the way it has been doing for months when it was in Libra. Instead, Mars and Mercury in Scorpio are trining your sun sign right now, and so is Neptune, which is direct in Pisces. So there can be some financial news coming your way, or even some sort of financial deal that is going to require a fairly quick response from you, Cancer. And it could be something even that involves your employment in one way or another. And so it could be rather good, but you would have to react rather quickly to it, or there can be some sort of a real estate purchase that you would have to react rather quickly to. So it may not be all on your own terms, but it still could be very favorable for you. So I think you should sort of stand tall and do your best right now, Cancer. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is a time when I think that, you know, if you've got an itch to travel, this is a time to do it, because that sun and new moon and Jupiter in Sagittarius yesterday were exactly trining your sun sign, Leo. And so you could have visitors from a foreign country or from far away, or you could be deciding to take a trip right now. As long as you can afford it, that's a great idea, Leo. But on the other hand, Uranus in Taurus is squaring your sun sign, and so is Mars and Mercury in Scorpio. And that means that even though you want to do the right thing, and even though you may feel extravagant and you want everyone to have a good time right now, and it is the holidays, and a lot of people travel for the holidays as well, you still need to really watch your budget, because there could be overdue bills that have to be paid first, or there could be higher taxes that have to be dealt with. And that is why you should be real careful about the money. There's also the possibility that the value of an investment could change rather quickly, and you need to be aware of that as well, Leo. So if I were you, I would not spend too much money right now, or at least try to limit yourself a little bit in the holiday season, and that way you could handle other financial problems when they arise, and that would help you to stand tall as well. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time when I think that a lot of good things can be going your way that are very practical and realistic, and even involving long-term rewards. And that is because Venus, Saturn, and Pluto in Capricorn are trining your sun, and Uranus in Taurus is trining your sun. So it can be, Virgo, that if you decide to stand tall and do your very best right now, and more or less not criticize anybody, not come up with all the answers, you're a person that is an excellent problem solver, so you spend a lot of your time analyzing problems. But this is not a time, maybe it's just not the time of year as we approach the holidays, when people want to listen to all of that. Instead, Virgo, you need to sort of maintain a certain standing tall stature and be very efficient and economical in your actions and in your words, so that people see how well you do something, and let your actions speak for themselves without giving your opinion about anything. So that would be good, Virgo, because this new moon in Sagittarius, along with the Sun and Jupiter, were all squaring your sun sign. And Neptune, which is now direct in Pisces, is opposing your sun sign. You may be very dismayed and disillusioned by the deception or the trickery that you find out about people behind the scenes. At least two people behind the scenes have been trying to pull the wool over your eyes, Virgo, or simply not telling you the truth at all. When you find that out, you may be somewhat disgruntled about that. But on the other hand, it's better to know the truth and then just quietly live with it if you can. So stand tall and be at your best, Virgo, and be as quiet as you can as well. Let your actions speak louder than your words. Okay, what does it mean to Libra? Well, Libra, this is a time when there are no planets in the air signs, and so you know, you have to sort of look around and ask yourself, well, if you want to stand tall and you want to be fair and you want to follow law and order, how can you do it? Well, the Sun and new moon in Sagittarius, along with Jupiter, were sextiling your sun, which is good. That means that over the holidays, and particularly now, you could have the opportunity to really do the greatest good for somebody, or to be really fair in some situation, particularly with a partner or some sort of legal deal. So it's possible, since Mars has been in your sun sign for so long, that this is when you can conclude some sort of contentious standoff that's been going on for a while. I think that you would have the finesse and the ability to stand tall, settle something, and just get over it. So I hope you give it a try. Okay, what does it mean to Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, Mars is in your sign along with Mercury, so you could really be supercharged, and they're being trine by Neptune in Pisces, which is direct right now. And that new moon 2 days ago with the Sun and Jupiter in Sagittarius were right ahead of your sun sign. So you may have the opportunity to travel, or you may be very interested in some sort of pending legal decision that is coming up. You may be very much in favor of it when it is finally decided. But actually the problem that you may have is one that could just be a self-inflicted wound. In other words, with Mars in your sun sign and with Mercury there, which is the planet of communication, your words, Scorpio, could have a little sharp edge to them. Or you may be so energized you don't realize just in your words that you can be sort of running over people sometimes. And so you need to be a little bit quieter and sort of back off right now, because Mars is an aggressive planet. It's not a loving planet. And even though it is in your sun sign, which can make you very determined and really wanting to make more money right now, that isn't all there is to life, Scorpio. This is a time when we should be thinking higher thoughts and revering our traditions and favoring fairness and law and order, particularly by people or organizations that have withstood the test of time. And that's why you need to back up a little bit and quiet down a little bit and really try to adhere to the things that are the very best for everybody, not just for you, but for everybody, and follow that. Stand tall. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarius? Well, Sagittarius, the new moon was in your sun sign. Lucky you, Sagittarius. You could be getting ready to travel. You also could have very high intentions. You could be a little bit more devoted to your religion or your philosophy, or wanting a higher education, or you could be very interested in what international organizations are doing, or you could just be wanting to go to a foreign country right now, or welcoming visitors from afar. All of that could work out really well. But Jupiter, your ruler, is at the 29th degree in your sign. That is the degree of fate. You may be at a crossroads right now, Sagittarius, and that crossroads could actually be whether you're going to sort of stand tall and sort of fly high and do your very best for the greater good, or whether you're just going to concentrate on what you want. I think you're going to have to decide that all by yourself. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is a good time for you because Venus has just come into your sign and it's joining Saturn and Pluto there, and Jupiter is conjuncting that Venus. So this can be a time of satisfying reward for you, and that may be because you have had high standards in your life, Capricorn, and that you've sort of stood tall and done your duty. Capricorns really like to do their duty. So all the earth signs do. And so this can be a time of fulfillment for you, and you may be enjoying some spiritual satisfaction behind the scenes. And everyone can see your goodness right now, Capricorn, because the Sun, New Moon, and Jupiter were in Sagittarius right behind your sun sign. So there's a lot of light in the background of your life, and it is to your credit. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, there aren't any planets in the air signs, so you may be thinking a little bit more about the financial side of things, and that is because Uranus and Taurus is squaring your sun, and so are Mars and Mercury in Scorpio. So if it's not you that's in a financial controversy right now, then it is somebody else. And also it can be that something behind the scenes can work out pretty well for you. Aquarius right now, because Venus, Saturn, and Pluto in Capricorn are right behind your sun sign, and there are going to be more planets building up in Capricorn. So if you're very busy behind the scenes now, trying to stand tall and do things right, that is really going to pay off in the long term. So I wish you the best of luck. Just sort of keep your eyes on how much everything costs right now and don't go overboard. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is a time when you can certainly sort of see the truth. And that is because Neptune is now direct in your sign, and it's being trine by Mars and by Neptune, or by Mercury in Scorpio. So there could be news about money or some sort of conflict about money, about shared expenses or about taxes or about the financial responsibility of different entities. That could work out for you once you understand or get the bigger picture right now on something. You could be learning some more truth behind the scenes. And that could really help you make an important decision, Pisces. First of all, the new moon was squaring your sun sign, and so some people may want to stand tall, but I think what you want to do is I think you want to resolve a financial issue that is standing in the way of some sort of peacemaking initiative. In other words, if you could just get over the money problem that somebody has or that you have, then peace could ensue and you could continue on with your life. And I think you should try for that. I think that maybe you could succeed at that, particularly if you stand tall and you're fair and believe in issues that involve law and order. So follow the traditions that have withstood the test of time and that are highly respected, and you'll do just fine, Pisces. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show, read our blog, and hear our podcast on our website, starborninstitute.org. And happy Thanksgiving. Bye.